Thank you. Welcome first of all to the March Council meeting. We have an annual council meeting in Sandy High, ordinary meeting, so welcome to the gallery and thanks councillors and staff. We'll start with, first of all, we have no applications for attendance via audio visual link. It'll be bad luck if we, because we haven't got connection here. Acknowledge for the country, Councillor Douglas.
I want to acknowledge the Wanneroo people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, and pay my deepest respects to elders, past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to all First Nations people here with us today. May we listen, learn and work together in a way that respects the past, embraces the present and builds a future where truth, justice and culture are at the heart of everything we do.
Thanks, Councillor Douglas. The civic prayer, Councillor Dunn.
Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, we give you thanks for the blessings you bestow upon us in the Shire. Grant to those who hold office in this council the spirit of justice and truth, of wisdom and charity, that mindful of our responsibility and of the needs of those we serve, we may promote the true welfare of your people, exercise wisely and faithfully the authority committed to us, and advance the common good through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn. Please be seated. We have two applications for leave of absence tonight. They come from Councillor Scholes and Councillor Barry. If someone want to move that way, Councillor Douglas has moved, Councillor Barry has seconded. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes, a copy of the minutes from the previous meeting, the February meeting, in front of you. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Morris, Councillor McNeil has seconded that. Any discussion? Councillor Morris? Councillor McNeil, any further discussion? If that's the case, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Item 6 is our disclosure of any pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests. I'll start on my left. Councillor Douglas. Councillor Mahajan.
Yes, item number 10.14, monthly report to council, planning and environment related service, page number 150. One of the items listed is to report 5 in my wife.
Thank you, Councillor Mahajan. Councillor Morris.
Thank you very much. 10.4.3, awarding a sponsorship for the 2025 diesel, rust and dust truck and machinery show. Company I am is hiring some equipment for that.
Thank you, Councillor Marshall. Councillor Ward. Councillor Barry.
Item 10.1.2, the planning proposal for additional permitted use of the Dell Basement Power Station site, pecuniary interest, and I actually work for it.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Councillor McNeil. Councillor Dunn.
Item 10.4.1, arts and funding fees. I have insignificant non-pecuniary interest in this item. I'm council representative on the arts and funding committee.
And Councillor Hartley. Thank you. Item 7, there's no mayoral minute. We now move in. We have one application for public participation. That's Mr. George. So I'll ask Mr. George to come forward. He'll be speaking. On my right here, Mr. George. He'll be speaking on behalf of the development application, item 10.11, the storage complex, Turner Street, Denver. Mr. George, will give you 2 minutes to address. 2 minutes. I'll let you know when you're about half a minute from your 2 minutes, and then when you finish, if you just stay there, if any councillors, if you've got any questions, they can ask first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. 2 years ago, I put in a submission against this storage. There's 11 reasons for it. I hope every councillor has read my submission. The history of the land itself. In 1915, the railway was brought into Denver, and they dug a borrow pit and made a dam. That dam was used by the council as a swelling effect of the water coming down Bell Street, and then later on the council decided to divert the water through the recreation area through the dams in there. So council in decided to fill that camp in. I was on the loader for 10 years, loading stuff, and I know that we put in 350 cubic metres into that land. Future development of Denver is going to be all on the west side of the railway. There's no land left in town. So that area there is going to end up the centre of the township of Denver. And just think of all the traffic that's going to come through. When you're making your decision, remember that this is for the future. The future of all the traffic coming down through Bell Street and around that corner. And then you're going to put a child netball court right on the corner, right next to it. We can find better uses for it. Right. I know that for a fact that that land, being as it is, slows the water down. Once you put buildings, roads and that in it, it's going to increase the water down Merton Street. Even though we've diverted the water from Middle Street, the water still runs down Merton Street, and you just spend a lot of money fixing half of it up. So when you make a decision, think of the future, of what your grandchildren that will be expected to live in Denver, and try and work out how an industrial little block of land was laid out and be rezoned by you guys to put something in as a security for the place. Who's going to be there to secure day and night? Children are going to get in there.
Thanks, Mr. George.
Yeah. All right?
So you stay there. Any questions from councillors? Councillor Barry.
No question I have.
Councillor Barry.
He did. Do you know the material that was actually put into that barricade? Do you know what type of material it was?
It was all rubbish. There was concrete, there was grass. It's contaminated. That would be a contaminated site.
Councillor Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. George, just wondering if you know you would try to ask an extension. Council's going to make a decision on that, if you have more to say.
No, I think that pointed out that as long as you read my submission, all my submission, 11 different items in there, and I'd like answers for all of them.
Any further questions from councillors? Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr. George. You said the site was contaminated, that you mentioned as concrete and grass. What was the particular nature of the contamination?
When doing work around them, we had to clear the land off, and that before the roads were made and things like that. Anything we wanted somewhere to dump it, so we could build it there. With all the grass and the rubbish that's on top of the ground. So I had to go into a machine, excavator, and try and level it off. I tell you what, a bit hard, we want concrete in it.
Thank you.
Any further questions from councillors? Thank you, Mr. George. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on. Item 9. So item 9 is business arising from the previous meeting, such a response to questions from the February council meeting. Councillor Hartley, it was your question. Are you happy with the response?
Yeah.
Any councillors got any further questions in regards to Councillor Hartley's question? If not, I'll put that to the mover. Councillor Hartley, of course. Councillor Morris. I'll put that if there's no further discussion. All those in favour? Any against? Thank you. So we'll move into item 10, moving to business. So planning and environment is the development application Mr. George spoke about. It's a development application 2023, 14 storage complex, Turner Street, Denman. Have I first a mover? Councillor Marshall, a seconder. Seconder, Councillor Morris. Councillor Marshall, you used to speak.
Yes. Hey, going on what George said, as far as the rubbish and concrete ready to propose is in there, I don't think the site would be any good for one apart, two or buildings, because of the nature of having the fridge and all that sort of thing. So, one big concrete slab would cover all that.
Councillor Marshall. Sorry, Councillor Morris, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And just any other councillor, probably our councillors to speak for it, Councillor Barry, you want to speak?
Speaking against it.
Any other councillors want to speak for it first? Okay, Councillor Barry.
I attended a community called meeting probably 12 months ago. The community actually contacted me, concerned residents, with this facility being erected where it was. I agree that it's a great idea, great facility, wrong location. I am concerned about the impact of stormwater on homes in the immediate vicinity. We do have issues with stormwater in Denman. Mr. George did mention the issue with Merton Street. I think this is going to create further impact on Merton Street, but it's also going to create further impact on the immediate residents in and around that area. I'm concerned with the visual impact and the aesthetics of it. It doesn't blend with the existing residential character of the homes, with the heritage village. It just doesn't. I think it's going to stand out as a bump, especially being on that corner, very visible from a tourism perspective. I believe it's going to be an eyesore to residents and decrease the area's visual appeal. So yeah, I will be speaking against this motion.
If I can, this more speakers for last. The application is different to that of 12 months ago, so there's a number of changes. They were sparked no doubt by the objections. So I might call on, if I can, the instruction of Mr. Weissart to give a bit of report on the review of Shire and both the changes to that and the stormwater and review of the stormwater.
Yes, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can talk about the changes of the developments. And maybe Sharon will assessment. The North Turner Street access has been removed from the development. The Bell Street access has become more central, so the vehicles going in and out of Bell Street. The other consideration is the pedestrian link. So there's a proposed 2.5 metre wide pedestrian link on the eastern side. In submitting the development contamination report, was
Mr. Mayor, councillors, I'll fly on contamination and go back to stormwater. With contaminated sites, there is a preliminary investigation done as part of the initial development application. There are different sorts of treatment for contamination. If this site was to be used for residential, it would be likely that that contaminated material would need to be removed and replaced with uncontaminated material. Because this is a more commercial use, and the proposal is to construct a large concrete slab, that is called capping, and that creates a barrier between humans and the contaminated material, and that is considered to be an acceptable solution to managing contamination. Like I say, if it was for a residential use, a childcare centre, or some other use where there are more sensitive users living on the site, it wouldn't be the case, but for a commercial use or an industrial use, that is an acceptable treatment. With stormwater, I'm not an expert, so our engineers have had input. There's a couple of things. The development would be required to construct curb and guttering for the full frontage of the site. So stormwater on Bell Street would be captured in a strict stormwater system and would no longer flow through this property. It would be piped it would end up on the other side of the railway lines, but it would end up being piped and not go onto this property. The actual development itself, there are conditions of consent requiring them recommended, requiring them to manage stormwater in accordance with our development control plan. The development control plan has requirements about the flow of water off the site during a stormwater event and treatment of water quality as well, because there will be cars travelling through there, so we're worried about petroleum products. So our engineers advised that they felt it could be designed so that there would not be an adverse impact downstream of the site. And there are things you probably encourage the applicant to do, such as putting in stormwater tanks.
Thanks. The motion that's been moved and seconded, I'll read that out, that council grants development consent to development application DA 2023-14, being the establishment of a storage premises at lot 42 DP 771226, subject to the recommended conditions of consent included in attachment B by the mover and a seconder for that. On the other. No, we haven't had a speaker before, so we can't indulge in Councillor Barry, but we haven't had another speaker before, so you can't. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of those. Yep. Those against? I declare the motion carried. (10.12) Planning proposal, additional community use of council areas. Community interest. Very good. So 10.12. So the recommendation in the business paper is that council resolves to 1, note the outcomes of the state agency consultation, and 2, agree that Dam Safety New South Wales comments about future blasting requirements in the Department of Primary Industries and assessment requirements for rural industries be incorporated into the future development control plan, and 3, endorse the planning proposal attachment A to amend the Muswellbrook Local Environmental Plan 2009 MLEP, and 4, finalise the amendment to the MLEP 2009 under delegation granted by the Minister for Planning and Public Spaces pursuant to section 3.36 of the Environmental and Planning Assessment Act 1979, and 5, prepare and exhibit a new section Muswellbrook DCP 2009 to apply to the land to which this planning proposal applies. Have I a mover for that? Councillor McNeil, seconded Councillor Morris. Councillor McNeil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to add is congratulations to the Director of Planning and staff for the report and achieving the outcome that we have.
Thank you, Councillor Morris.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. No, I'd just like to echo Councillor McNeil's words there. I think it's an outstanding effort.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the motion? Councillor Wood.
Better. Thanks.
Mr. Dan Kett, we speak about earlier. Thanks, Councillor Wood. There's no further councillor want to speak. We have the motion. I've read the motion out. We have a mover and a seconder. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.1.3, Muswellbrook Shire Local Land Care Grants. The motion you have in front of you is that Council 1 approves grants as shown in Table 1 of the report, except in relation to St Joseph's Primary School Denman, and 2, approves funding for St Joseph's Primary School Denman to the value of $22,686.64 using other funds for sustainability programs. But I've got to move over to Councillor Douglas, seconded Councillor Hartley. Councillor Douglas.
So, I just want to actually congratulate the schools and everyone who's had taken this opportunity to be able to support the education and learning that goes into making it as great as possible. And thank Council for giving the schools the opportunity.
Councillor Hartley. Any other councillor wish to speak against? There's no councillors. More discussion. I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you, councillors. Wait for Councillor Martin to enter the room. So item 10.1.4 is the monthly report to Council Planning, Environment and Regulatory Services. The motion is that the information contained in the report be noted. Have I someone move that way? Councillor Barry, Councillor Dunn. Councillor Barry? No? Councillor Dunn? Any further questions? Any councillors to be heard? If that's the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. Corporate services. So 10.2.1 is a rivers and drainage channels policy for adoption. So the motion in front of us is that Council adopts the rivers and drainage channels policy provided in attachment A. Or someone move that way. Councillor Morris or Councillor Ward? Councillor Morris.
No, thank you.
Councillor Ward? Any councillors wish to be heard? If that's the case, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 10.2.2 is the borrowing policy for adoption. So the motion simply reads Council adopts the borrowing policy. How about Council want to move that way? Councillor Morris, Councillor Hartley. Councillor Morris.
No, thank you.
Councillor Hartley. Any questions from any councillors?
One question, just in terms of the statement around the background for the policy, having regard to the long-term and cumulative effects of council's decisions. Excuse me. Can that be explained? What that actually means? Or how that is done?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Well, just how does council regard the cumulative effects, long-term and cumulative effects, I guess, of our financial position, which I guess would be prudent to the.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for the question, Councillor. So, Council, throughout budgeting process and the long-term financial planning, we look into the cumulative effects in terms of borrowings, forecasting interest rates, and overall debt balance, and obligations in that regard to make sure that we're not sort of over-committed in the future, different scenarios that we're not going to have. It's adverse things going forward. Is that sort of what you're...
Thank you. And I think at the last finance committee meeting you talked about some modelling, some long-term modelling to, I guess, take into account certain industrial closures.
Yeah, certainly. And as we're going through the process now of developing a new long-term financial plan, we're refining those models in terms of looking at the mining rates, how that might affect us. It's that will be included in the long-term financial plan that we review, which will be coming to council in April.
Thank you very much.
Any further questions? case. I'll put that so that the council adopts the borrowing policy. We have a mover and a seconder. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.3, the Code of Conduct Procedures for adoption. The motion reads that council adopts the Code of Conduct Procedure and the procedures for the administration of the Code of Conduct. Who will move that way for me? Councillor Barry, Councillor Dunn. Councillor Barry. Councillor Dunn. Any further discussion? If that's the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare it unanimous and carried. Thank you. So the draft Code of Meeting Practice, this one's for public exhibition. So the motion reads that one, council endorses the attached draft Code of Meeting Practice to be placed on public exhibition by council's website for a period of 28 days and to provide members of the community with at least 42 days in which to make submissions, and two, a further report is submitted to council for consideration of submissions received during the exhibition period. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Morris. Seconder, Councillor Hartley. Councillor Morris.
No, thank you.
Councillor Hartley.
No.
Any questions? Any discussion? It's just for public exhibition. If that's the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare it unanimous and carried. Thank you. 10.2.6, again for public exhibition, the draft community strategic plan. There's lots of work on in this one, including by both staff and councillors. The council endorses the draft community strategic plan 2025 to 2035, of course, a 10-year plan, to be placed on public exhibition for a period of 40 days. Have I a mover? Councillor Marshall, Councillor McNeil. Councillor Marshall.
I'd just like to commend the staff, councillors, and hopefully the public for all their submissions into the draft.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Councillor Marshall.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, did we miss a line?
We'll go back, we'll deal with this one and go back. And we'll deal with 10.2.6 and we can go back to 10.2.5. So what times, doesn't it? Any comment, any further comment about the draft community strategic plan under mover and seconder? Councillor Neil.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to add to Councillor Marshall's comments and just say the language used is very, very much easier.
I agree with both councils, lots of work on into it, and we hope that the community also has plenty of input, further input into it. Because of their input so far, the document's been done. Congratulations to staff. So I have a mover and a seconder for that motion. This is for public exhibition. If there's no further discussion, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. We'll go back to 10.2.5. 10.2.5 is the draft WHS policy for public exhibition. So resolve that one, council endorses the draft work, health and safety policy for placement on public exhibition via council's website for a period of 28 days, and two, no submissions are received in relation to the draft work, health and safety policy during the public exhibition period. Then council resolves to adopt the work, health and safety policy, and three, if submissions are received in relation to the draft work, health and safety policy during the public exhibition period, and a further report will be submitted to council for consideration of submissions received during that exhibition period. Have I a mover? Someone want to move that way? Councillor Morris, and seconded Councillor McNeil. Councillor Morris?
No, thank you.
Councillor McNeil. Any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. We'll go back to 10.2.7 now. So these are regional motions for the 2025 National General Assembly of Local Government. The motion reads that council endorses one, the regional motions identified in the report, and two, the lodging the endorsed regional motions to the National General Assembly by the closing date of 31 March 25. Have I a mover? Councillor Morris. Councillor Barry has seconded. Councillor Morris.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate you actually on being a part of this organisation and coming up with these focus points for areas of priority. I think they're going to suit that area particularly well.
Thanks, Councillor Berry. Any further discussion? We'll make some comment. They are motions endorsed by all 10 groups in the Hunter group. So of course, it's not just this council that believes that we have we've got this massive change coming towards us with job losses. We've had the support of all the 9 other councils in the Hunter group, so it certainly is good for that to be the case. So the motion reads that do I have a mover and a seconder? If there's no further discussion, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you, councillors. 10 to 8, Community and Economy Committee, terms of reference. So the motion in front of you reads that council adopts the draft terms of reference for the Community and Economy Committee. Any move that way? Councillor Douglas has moved that way. A seconder? Councillor Marshall. Councillor Douglas? Councillor Marshall? Any further discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll put that. All those in favour, raise your hand. Any against? Declare it unanimous and carried. We're up now to 10.2.9, the report on investments. So that it's just a noting that council notes council's investments as at 28 February 2025. But we have a mover, Councillor Mahajan, a seconder, Councillor Morris. Makes sense to me. To do with the investment committee. Councillor Mahajan, you wish to talk to it? Councillor Morris. Any further discussion, any questions? If there's not, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare it unanimous and carried. Thank you. 10 to 10. Monthly financial report, February 2025. Again, council notes the financial reports for the month ending 28 February 25. So this is for noting. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Mahajan and Councillor Dunn this time. Councillor Mahajan. Councillor Dunn. Any discussion? Questions? If there's not, I'll put that. All those in favour, raise your hand. Not any against? Thank you, councillors. I'll declare that unanimous and carried. 10.3, we move on to infrastructure and property. So 10.3.1, corrosive chemicals facilities audit. So the motion in front of you reads that Council 1 notes the information regarding corrosive chemical storage audit and remaining actions attached to the report. 2, approves the transfer of $300,000 from the water reserve to the 2024-25 financial year capital budget to complete the actions required to comply with Australian Standard AS 3780 2023, and 3, endorses to proceed with the required works by calling tenders. Have I a mover to move that way? Councillor Marshall, Councillor Ward. Councillor Marshall.
Yes, again, I want to recommend the council officer report together, and with in mind the safety of the employees and the community.
You mentioned Councillor Marshall, so you
No,
don't mention him until you have to help you done, that's fine. Councillor Ward. No? You wish it? Yes, Councillor.
I just want to commend this audit being completed, council working towards the recommended actions that have come from it. It's comforting in the knowledge that Muswellbrook Council is actually taking safety seriously, our community seriously, our environment seriously, and we're continuously improving. So, well done.
Further discussion, questions? I will put that motion then, with a mover and a seconder. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? I'll declare that unanimous carried. 10.3.2. 10.3.2 is Sandy projects updates, and the motion in front of you is that the information contained in the report be noted. Have I a mover? Councillor Dunn, Councillor Morris. Councillor Dunn.
No.
Councillor Morris. Yeah, you can, Councillor Marshall.
I'd just like to, commend the committee to speak there at the West Bird, and let them know that we are actually working on the end of it. We have a few small ventures in process.
We have. Any further questions? It is a good report, and I agree, Councillor Marshall. It's a pretty good turnout to get 20 people here for a small community like this. Tells you that they do care about their community, so it certainly is good. Any no further discussion? I will put that motion 10.3.2. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that carried. 10.3.3. Major projects status report. It's just been noted, so the council notes the information contained in the report by a mover. Councillor Morris, Councillor Barry. Councillor Morris, Councillor Barry. Any questions? Councillor
Just in regard to the $90,000 that's allocated for tree replacement, plantings. In the January council meeting, I asked the question about the replacement of trees outdoor park, on the eastern side of the block corridor in Denver. Is that included in the allocation?
Thank you, Councillor Neil. Yes, that's what they done. It's the removal of identified hazardous trees, which all comes to council about, and street tree park.
No further questions? I'll put that. I have a mover and a second. I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare it unanimous and carried. Thank you. 10.4. Community and economy. So Arts Upper Hunter. Funding deed. The motion is that council endorses the attached Arts Upper Hunter funding deed. If someone want to move that way for me? Councillor Mahajan, Councillor Barry is next. Councillor Mahajan used to speak to it. Councillor Barry, any questions? Any comments? If there's not, I'll put that motion. That all those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous carried. Thank you. 10.4.2, sponsorship for the catalogue muster. The recommendation in the business paper is that council approves the sponsorship of $7,500 to the Muswellbrook Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the catalogue muster, Bluey and Bingo live experience, and the meet and greet subject to both parties entering into and meeting the requirements of council's sponsorship agreement. If someone want to move that way, Councillor McNeil and Councillor Barry. Councillor McNeil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just think it's a very good initiative, something that I think has potential to grow. It's a very good thing to sponsor.
Thank you. Councillor Barry. Any further comment? If that's the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Another one unanimous carried. Thank you. 10.4.3. So this is the awarding of sponsorship 2024 diesel, rust and dust truck and machinery show 26 April 2025. So the motion reads that council resolves to 1. Provide a community grant to the Antique Truck and Machinery Club Incorporated for the staging of the 2025 Diesel, Rust and Dust Truck and Machinery Show at Denton on 26 April 2025. And 2. To authorise the General Manager to finalise the grant contribution consisting of a fee waiver, in-kind and cash contribution of no more than $10,000, and that a further report be presented to council by the Antique Truck and Machinery Club Incorporated following the event, detailing the success of the event and plans for the 2026 event. Councillor Marshall, I thought you would move that. Councillor Barry, I think, was next. Councillor Marshall.
Again, I'd just like to commend the council on what's been a little bit of a difficult situation. You welcome it. Well earned for the public.
Councillor Barry.
I don't know how many people in the room have actually been to this. It is a great day out in Devon. It's a fantastic day. Lots of people from out of town will come to the town. So it does support the local community and also showcases our local area. So get out there, bring your friends, bring your family, come and check out the beautiful town of Devon.
Councillor Barry.
And that's right. There are a lot of kids, so money for operating.
Absolutely understand that last year it attracted around 3,000 people, so it's not an insignificant event.
A lot of those people stay.
Any further comment?
My question is, what parade is all able to receive?
That's primarily, Councillor McNeil, that's what the money's for. There's a large amount as things have changed over the years. There's a large chunk of that money that we require for traffic control. They have to stop, of course, the parade up Main Street. So the plan at the moment is, unless it all falls over, is it is short time, you've got to do thank the staff. Certainly provide staff have helped in the last week when we realised this was done, but then primarily the money is for traffic control at this stage. Yes, there is a plan for the parade to go up Main Street. Correct. Any further questions? Comments? If there's not, and the mover and seconder, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Declare it unanimous. Again, it's carried. Thank you. Morris. It's 10.44, so it's an awarding of a community grant, 2025, Sandy High Charity Bush Horse Ride, 12 April 2025. Have I a mover? Councillor Douglas and Councillor Hartley. Councillor Douglas. So I'll read the motion first. It's your business paper. Council approves a community grant of $2,035 to the Westpac Rescue Helicopter Service for the staging of the 2025 Sandy High Charity Bush Horse Ride at Sandy High, 12 April. Councillor Douglas.
I just want to say it was an amazing event, and year after year, the money that they raised to support charity and community is fantastic. The council said behind it.
Councillor Hartley. Any questions? Any further comments? Again, another community event attracts a large amount of people with lots and lots of volunteer work. That volunteer work that we struggle to see in a lot of communities, but not small communities like this one. Certainly North Devon, the last one we spoke about, so there are two communities that offer lots and lots of in-kind work, volunteer work, which is becoming unfortunately more unusual, so thank you to both of those communities. We have a mover and a seconder, so I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. So we'll do minutes from committee meetings now. 11.1, the first meeting is the Finance and Governance Committee meeting on the 13th of February 2025 and the 13th of March 2025. So the motion in front of you reads that Council notes the minutes of the meeting the Finance and Governance Committee held on 13th February 2025 and 13th March 2025 and adopts the recommendations therein. And I move for that Finance and Governance. Councillors Morris and Mahajan, the other way around this time. Councillor Morris.
Thank you.
Councillor Mahajan. Anyone, any comments, any questions? If there's not, I'll put that. All those in favour, raise your hand. Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. 11.2. 11.2 is the State Significant Development Committee, 18 February 2025 and 11 March. Again, for noting, the Council notes the minutes of the meeting of the State Significant Development Committee held on 18 February 2025 and 11 March 2025 and adopts the recommendations contained therein. Have I a mover for that State Significant? Councillor Hartley and Councillor Dunn. Councillor Hartley. Councillor Dunn. Any other questions from councillors? If there's not, questions, we'll move on. I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? No one against. Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 11.3 is the Infrastructure and Property Committee meeting, 18 February 2025. The recommendation in your business paper reads that Council notes the minutes of the meeting of the Infrastructure and Property Committee held on 18 February 2025 and adopts the recommendations contained therein. Have we a mover? Councillor Morris. Seconder? Councillor Dunn. Councillor Morris. Councillor Dunn. Any comments? Any questions? If there's not, we'll move into voting. All those in favour, raise your hand. Any against? Unanimous and carried. Thank you. 11.4 is Local Traffic Committee. 11 March 2025, again for noting, Council notes the minutes of the local traffic committee meeting held on 11th of March and adopts the recommendations contained therein. If we move it that way, Councillor Marshall who sits on that, Councillor Hartwell, Councillor Marshall.
I'd just like to say we have some opposition against the NJAC parade this year, and as Kelly Scholars will be able to see it, it's in the report that we need to make some further steps as far as the march goes, because it's getting a little bit posed.
That's your reference, Councillor Marshall, I understand, to actually traffic travelling down the
Yes, traffic down
in Muswellbrook down the highway. Yeah. Was raised by the police, I understand. Any further comment? Any questions? If there's not, I'll put that. All those in favour? Any against? Unanimous and carried. 11-5 again. Community and Economy Committee meeting 11 March. The Council notes, this is the motion reads, Council notes the minutes of the meeting of the Community and Economy Committee held on 11 March 2025 and adopts the recommendations contained therein. By mover, Councillor Douglas. Councillor Morris. Councillor Douglas.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the staff for supporting me with chairing my first meeting. It's not as easy as people think when you're actually in the chair, so I want to take this time to say thank you for staff supporting me, but also for the quality and effort that we're actually putting into all the different reports. And it highlights and shows when you attend these meetings just the amount of work that the staff do in our community to ensure that the whole community is supported, and it's amazing. So thank you to the staff.
Thank you, Councillor Douglas. Councillor Morris. Any questions? Any further comment? Your own fault to make mistakes, Councillor Douglas. I used mine up early in those meetings. If there's not, we recommend over the mover and seconder. All those in favour? Any against? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. There are no notices of motion. Council reports. I'll start on my left. Councillor Douglas. Councillor Mahajan. Councillor Morris. Councillor Marshall. Councillor Wood. Councillor Wood's all right. Councillor Barry. Councillor McNeil. We will sort of that. Councillor Dunn. Councillor Hartley. Okay. We'll move on to written questions there in nil. So questions for next meeting again. I'll start on the left. Questions for next meeting. Councillor Mahajan, Morris, Councillor Marshall, you have any questions for next meeting? Councillor Wood, Councillor Barry, Councillor McNeil, Councillor Dunn. Councillor Scholes, I hope.
This relates to a message I received during the workshop from a resident of Wyville asking what's happening with the land at Wyville Creek. We are going to give the residents an update.
To ask through the general manager will delegate that response.
Can we just take the we are working on it now. We are in the process of providing reports to council. Thank you.
Councillor Hartley, I do have one question for next meeting that I would like, if we could, to the general manager, council to investigate an alternate process for bulk waste pickup. So we've had a number of complaints to council about the bulk waste that sits there for a number of weeks and becomes absolutely bulk waste. People go through it. There is a system I understand, this is a long-winded question, but there is a system I understand, particularly with other councils where you order, or you get one or two free a year, free bulk waste, where effectively you order in a period, so you get 2 of them each household as you do now, but you order them and there's a time period when, of course, you order that pickup and they pick it up. You might do your first 2 in the first 2 months, you might do your 2 in the last 2 months, but when it suits landholders, there will be some cost to that, I imagine, but certainly I think my view is we need to probably do something about addressing the amount of time that waste. Everyone understands bulk pickups, I'm sure most towns do now, but we're getting to a stage, and certainly it's not council spreading the rubbish, or council is doing it, but it seems to people put it out weeks and weeks before it's due, and people go through it, so I think it's a mess. I'd just like council, if they could, to investigate an alternate process that might be a little bit more mindful, I guess, or respectful of what might happen in that rubbish over a period of time.
You can easily, the quality of quantity for, no, quality of waste. Because there's a lot, you go around with it, they've already been used in the last 3 weeks. These mattresses are, because they don't have mattresses, they don't take tires. No sensitive at the moment, and your system would alleviate that.
In the investigation, this investigation, there'll obviously be I imagine there would be an education program about what you can do. Just the investigation is what we want, is the council staff to come back and tell us what changes we want.
So that's yes, one question. Does council have a system to go around and pick up the waste that's been spread? I know it's near the building.
Queen Street's bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of polystyrene that's been blown around.
Well, we don't, the system on investigating is to try and prevent that, to try and pick up. If it gets put out one day, within 1 or 2 days, it's picked up.
Yeah, but you need to mop up the.
I'm sure there'll be investigation to include all of that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. We also stop some of the constant stuff that we put out in people's full parts, 2 months, 3 months prior to pick up. This will be open, so.
So if you've got all that,
It's
there's 7 questions. There's now 7 questions for the next meeting, all related to rubbish.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor and councillors. How unusual. Manager Waste Operations has been working on this for some time. We're going to be back to council.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
We now move into item 16, which is adjournment into closed council to report some confidential business. I asked a remover, I've got Councillor Douglas and Councillor Marshall. All those in favour? Any against? That motion carries. Thank you, councillors. I have to ask the gallery to leave if we can, please. We'll read out the resolutions in closed council. So the resolutions reads on the council chamber and Kingwell's Corner retail spaces redevelopment. Council have resolved unanimously that 1, they notes that the current detailed design development as outlined in the report. 2, notes that 50% detailed design cost estimate. And 3, supports preparing for calling of construction tenders subject to available capital and operating budget 2025-2026. That was unanimously carried by councillors. 17.2 is 2023-2024. I'll tell you how old this is. 2023-2024 0583. Demolition of 88-108 Bridge Street buildings. Council have resolved again unanimously that 1, to accept the outcome of negotiations with Predem Proprietary Limited, TA Precision Demolition Services for contract 2023-2024 0583. Demolition of 88 to 108 Bridge Street buildings as detailed in the report. And 2, allocates fund as detailed in the report to award the demolition contract. And 3, authorises the General Manager to enter into a contract for 2023-2024 0583 demolition of 88 to 108 Bridge Street buildings on Council's behalf, unanimously supported by councillors. 17.3 is contract 2019-2020 0406 Muswellbrook Aquatic Centre offer final closeout. Council have resolved unanimously that to maintain Council's position as per previous resolutions described in this report. 2, authorise the General Manager to negotiate or revise the final deed of settlement and release. And 3, request that a further report be provided to Council prior to the finalisation of any settlement. Unanimously supported, as I said. And 17.4, the last item in closed council, is the BHP Mayor modification to draft conditions. Council have resolved that 1, the Mayor be authorised to meet with the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure to discuss the draft conditions as offered by the Department. And 2, staff forward a response regarding the Mount Arthur Coal modification to draft conditions to the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure. Again, unanimously supported by councillors. Councillors, I thank you for your attendance tonight. I also thank the gallery who hung around and come back as well. Thank the Senior Lake community for their attendance earlier. And I am now at 7:12 declare the meeting closed. Thank you, councillors.